If you don't know Paul, a little recap, Paul used to be Saul. He used to be persecutor of Christians, and then he had this radical life change where Jesus got a hold of his life. He had a name change to Paul, and Paul is just a savage for the gospel. I mean, he is absolutely amazing. I mean, Holy Spirit, what's happening? I'm just kidding. I've got to stop saying that. Christian said, stop saying Paul's a savage. I'm like, he was. Like, he was just amazing. Like, he did everything, he just went full force. And I love reading the life of Paul, and at this point, Paul had been preaching in Jerusalem, once again thrown in prison. Well, they didn't find anything wrong with him, so they're like, send him to Rome. So he's going to Rome at this point. He's a prisoner on the boat, and the wind isn't looking too good in their favor at this point. And so Paul, as a prisoner, speaks up to the centurion guards and tells them this isn't a good idea. Which you have to think, he's a prisoner. So what's about to happen kind of makes sense, but I want us to look at it and how it relates to our life. So Acts 27, we're going to start at the end of verse 9. Said, Paul advised them, saying, sirs, I perceive that this voyage will be with injury and much loss, not only of the cargo and the ship, but also of our life. So Paul kind of had this moment, and I don't know that it was the Holy Spirit or that it was just wisdom, because sometimes, we could say this might have been the Holy Spirit telling him. It didn't actually say that. Could have just been wisdom knowing, hey, this is not going to be good. The wind is clearly not in our favor. So Paul used wisdom and maybe the Spirit to say, hey, I don't think this is a good thing to do. We're probably going to lose the ship. We're probably going to lose our cargo, and we're also probably going to lose our life. And listen to what happened. So, but the centurion paid more attention to the pilot and to the owner of the ship than what Paul said. And because the harbor was not suitable to spend the winter, and the majority decided to put out to the sea from there on the chance that somehow they could reach Phoenix, a harbor of Crete, facing both southwest and northwest, and spend the winter there. So they were like, okay, we hear you, but you're a prisoner. Why would we listen to you? The pilot said we need to go this way, so we're going to go this way. And I want us to look at that because I want us to think about how the Holy Spirit speaks to us sometimes. Sometimes we just kind of get a nugget of wisdom in our life. We just kind of get, hey, this is probably not going to be a good idea. You probably don't actually want to get in that relationship. You probably don't actually want to go to that party. You probably don't actually want to take that position. Like something in you is a wisdom or a message from God saying that might not be a good idea. But you're looking around and everybody else seems to be fine with it. And it doesn't really seem to be a problem for some people. And people smarter than you or wiser than you are saying, no, it's okay. It's going to be fine. We're going to make it. Let's just do it. Anybody relate to that? Well, listen to what happens. Verse 13. Now, when the south wind blew gently, supposing that they had obtained their purpose, they weighed anchor and sailed along Crete close to the shore. But soon, take note, a tempestuous wind called the northeaster, which literally is winds like hurricane force, it struck down the land. And when the ship was caught and could not face the wind, we gave way to it and were driven along. I just want to make a note that the world's wind is very misleading. For about 1 second, everything looked great. The wind blew gently. It was fine. Everything was great. They even thought they obtained their purpose. They were like, whatever, what was he thinking? Everything is smooth sailing. And then boom, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this huge wind comes, and now they're driven by the wind of the world. The wind of the world will be very deceiving. It will come very gently. It'll be a little whisper. And then all of a sudden, you will lose full control. You see, sometimes I feel like we do that.